As some of you people know, because you've been around here forever, and those that haven't, I'm about to explain this. This channel started as me trying to make a memorial to my first AD&D character, first edition AD&D character, Maverick, with the help of Anthony. So to celebrate over 100 subscribers, a roundup to see which of the characters that my best friend Anthony has seen and see which one of them comes out on top. With me today is Anthony and the Cursed Paladin Artist Sans.
Tenicus.
Welcome, heroes and villains, to Fjooken Enterprises YouTube channel. Take a moment, relax, stop your bickering, and just enjoy the show. It's been You've seen this channel grow, haven't you, Anthony?
Yep, I've seen it from its infancy until now, starting with, well, what you presently do with the card openings, your interviews. We've had a couple of videos on prime ministers, and I know we've had a couple of like coffee conversations on our tabletop games.
So, I had the characters in an order. It's been randomly selected as you're aware, Anthony. The order of these characters, it's just there's 8 of them, which makes a nice number for a round robin. So in the first bracket, we have Right Hand versus Click. My old kobold who broke out of jail, who was a pure rogue, followed the Kobold Gold to the point of killing a gnome.
Yes! Oh yes, the one that was with yes, I know, yes, now I remember which one Click is. Wow.
What else do you remember about Click, Anthony?
Well, again, he was a sneaky individual. So Click was the one that so I mistakenly had a gnome shopkeeper, and I did realize that your character's true hatred of the gnomes, and you definitely shocked me when you decided to break into the shop after hours and you killed the poor shopkeeper.
And I'm sure you remember Right Hand very much more vividly.
Yeah, because Right Hand was much more recent, so he was the follower. So he actually Right Hand started off as just a regular kobold, who became a follower of Mihira, and took over. You took over Right Hand when after Mihara's unfortunate event, and you finished the Moongrass campaign with this character, with this little kobold, and you did get it wings. I believe you at the end of the campaign you managed to get it wings to make it a little more dragon-like. But yes, it was definitely
it was a magic item.
Yep, from under the water.
So, Anthony, Audie, who wins versus Right Hand and Click?
Oh, since I don't know the characters all that well, since this is the first time I'm hearing them, personally, I kind of like Click. The fact that he just goes, fuck the gnomes, just slaughters them.
Well, he definitely did more than that, but yeah, Click definitely had a longer campaign. Like I was saying, like I know Right Hand was a great character, but he took Mihara's place. So I'll also give it to Click.
So Click takes the first win of this roundup. So this is the only time you'll see two characters. Other time you'll see two characters of the same race. This time humans.
Yep. So Nitrios, aka John Farmer, I believe was his his alias or his real name. I'm still actually not sure which was his real name, which one was his fake name. Um, John Farmer was definitely an interesting character, and this is another thing that your characters tend to do is that they tend to die, but of their own choices in my campaigns, and it may just be because they lasted too long and you needed a change. Um, but again, in this campaign, this character Nitrios went out in a fireball, um, literally, literally stabbing the emperor as he was about to come into a wedding. And the so this weapon that Nitrio stabbed him had an acid on it that literally just it was like an instant KO. And on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, Nitrios then started just brutalizing the face, like the entire face and throat of the Emperor.
And the other character I'm gonna let Cuddy talk about because while you played with the character, Cuddy's had more time with it. That would be Cass Van Woodward.
Yeah. Your Witcher hunter, Witcher witch hunting fighter character, who had himself a fair bit of issues near the end of the campaign when his sister was captured by the Witch's Covenant, and he did not know exactly which way to go. How he fell in love with a wood elf and decided to propose and marry to her as the big final epic battle happened, and managed to get himself Castle Bloodstone there. Throughout the campaign, he uh, moved along, got himself a few nice little bits of gear, including a sword that would instant kill anything that it hit at the cost of either your strength or constitution, which definitely made a fair bit of damage. The fact that you gave Kobe wings with the Scepter too was pretty wild. It was a fair bit of fun. The Shoggoth definitely messed with us a bit, including with both your would-be wife before she be as you again in the whole romantic situation there, as well as your own character, as well as my own at the time. That thing just wrecked everyone. But yeah, your character definitely progressed well, working with the Lords of the Waterdeep, hunting down a couple of witches for him, and getting a nice little bounty there.
Nitrios, if I remember correct, was a Gish character. He had a cleric, monk, and fighter levels, while Cav Savan was just straight fighter. So, which one wins?
So I think in terms of longevity, Kev Saran I think is one of your few characters that started a campaign and finished a campaign alive.
Nice.
So I think that gives for me a point to Kev Saran.
Well, that is a good point to point out. Drew, I do like the fact that you did take the Emperor out and just started stabbing the face and the throat a fair bit with your other character. I can't dismiss that, but throughout the campaign with Cav there, the character definitely did work well with trying to set up the mercenaries and all the rest, as well as leading a big epic charge, rescuing his sister against vampires, witches, necromancers, and the like. So I'd probably give it to Cav myself.
The third bracket is interesting. I'm really interested in the third bracket because technically one of the characters is a reskin of a character that I played in one or two sessions of Anthony's mega game. That being the dwarf, Bryn Rockseeker, who was a constitutional sorcerer. Would you like to take it from there, Anthony?
So I'll start with Mercadia. So she was your Minotaur pirate, and she was your character after Nitrios had fled. And Mercadia was interesting. She decided that she wanted to fortify a town and claim it as her own. Well, her and her pirates. Um, and she was part of defeating the final big bad evil in that campaign, which was a dragon, uh, or some ancient dragons that were called there. Um, so Mercadia is also famous in that she's used in the Moongrass campaign as an explorer, and she ends up becoming so in my campaign universe, gods are created by having followers. The more followers you have, the stronger of a god you become. So Mercadia ends up kind of becoming a patron saint or goddess to pirates, even after her death, which was not covered in the campaign. Whereas Breen Rockseekers from the Rockseeker Chronicles, which we just finished, and Artie, I know that, or Articus, you were part of this campaign just a little bit.
And
Yeah. So you played my character's brother, and I don't know if Articus, if you were ever advised of how that campaign ended, or if it was shared to you.
I know the ending to it.
Yeah. So while fighting a big bad evil demon, uh your so Sabrine jumped through the portal first and left cut no it was what, Cuddy's uncle,
Father.
father. Sorry. So he left Cuddy's father inside because my character decided to jump out of the portal to chase after Breen, and we basically left you in some form, your character in some form of hell. But basically, it took me too long to get out, and Breen ended up being captured and somewhat killed by the cultists, and my character managed to run away. Um, but all throughout that campaign, my character had been the, I'll say, non-cautious character, and that was funny that this time it happened to be Breen's, and Breen ends up becoming a demon in the end, which is, I think, something that would be interesting to explore in the future.
Mercadia the One-Eyed, necromantic wizard / pilot, versus Breen Rockseeker, the sorcerer who has more HP than a barbarian.
I'm going to lean towards Mercadia just because being a low level deity.
And just the fact that necromancer / pirate sounds a fair bit more cooler than the dwarf with more health than a damn barbarian.
Now on to the last bracket. Mahara, the self-proclaimed god of excess magic, versus Helena, the conspiracy theories gnolls are behind everything.
So Mihara was a tabaxi, correct?
Yes, Mahara was a tabaxi.
Yeah. So she entered into the campaign with a bang and literally almost died in episode 1 because she. So while so Mihara had proclaimed herself as a deity right from the start, and she started my campaign by climbing the sails to jump to the big bad or one of the big bad's pirate ships with no plan on return or no plan on how to return from that big bad's pirate ship. Um, Tried to steal the mask that gave my big bad quite a bit of their power and got flung back to their ship, hit by a lightning bolt, and fell quite a big distance. And Mihara managed to survive on, I think it was like 1 or 2 HP, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and
Damn.
I think that's how Mihara lived her life, living on rooftops, jumping down, starting fights with entities and individuals, including their own NPC, which is the way, or sorry, other PCs, player characters, and that is how Mihara died, unfortunately. But again, because she did have some kobold followers, and actually, I should say she had an encampment of kobold followers. She is considered a low level entity or deity or patron saint uh, that will answer people's prayers. Whereas Helena, she survived. She survived the Mount campaign.
Yeah, but she wasn't my original character.
No, she wasn't. But again, I think that was probably one of the hardest challenges. Was that big bad evil from Des?
Well, she still believed Knowles were behind everything, so basically she spent all her life fighting Knowles because she still believed that.
But did you stay on the island or did you leave
Yes, I
afterwards?
stayed on the island, hunting Knowles.
Just hunting down the Knowles.
Interesting.
Basically, we managed to defeat a god or an incarnation of a god.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mahara did not have any of the typical magic user spells. No fireball, shield, magic missiles, none of that, right?
Correct. If you did, you didn't use them.
Which is one thing that kind of bothered me because I had nothing to attack the door with to get back with the party. Which is kind of what not being able to get back in is kind of why she died.
It happens.
Yeah.
So both these characters are insane in one way or another.
Standing's overrated.
You have the one that believes that the goddess and the one that believes that gnomes are the root of all evil. Who moves on?
I know I'm personally biased with Mihara because she was definitely I could never assume what she was going to do. She definitely threw curveballs. Although I do have to say, other characters in that campaign also threw curveballs. But I think Mahara was the one that I could never precisely grasp what she was going to do. But again, she did have her. You were the one that fastened a costume, but you died before you could pick it up.
Didn't I also give that guy like an ancient artifact or something as well to hold on to for me?
Yep. And then you passed away.
Well, between the two characters, I'd probably go with Mihara myself. Just something about you try to take the mask off the big bad and all that at the beginning,
Yeah,
like a badass.
literally an hour into the campaign, maybe an hour or two into the campaign, this this giant pirate ship comes towards this small little ship, and Mihara's Mihara's character was, well, the entire party was being threatened by this giant pirate ship, and Mihara's decision was to jump board across to the pirate ship and try to take out one of the big bad evils right at the beginning.
Yeah, sort of reminds me of Cav with taking the Viking longship out into the middle of the Viking enemy fleet to burst the lich and the demon.
Actually,
got your character killed.
I want to make a. I didn't actually try and take out the big bad. I introduced myself to the big bad, mentioned that I was a guardian, tried to steal her mask, and jumped off. I didn't try and kill nobody.
I think had you taken off the mask, that there, like, had you taken off the mask, I think the big bad would have had a hard time breathing. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was an aquatic creature.
I just wanted the mask. Because it was magical.
Why not? Like I said, sanity's overrated. Let's after all, look at Cuddy. He got an eldritch god in his head telling him to kill things.
So the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, is Click versus Cav and Mercadia versus Mahara.
Yeah.
So we have an extremely old kobold versus a middle-aged human.
That's able to shoot lightning from out of his axe and can sense the auras of beings with his helmet.
On the other hand, how many 70-year-old kobolds do you know of?
Not many. Not with how Kirby was, no. If they're all like Kirby, then they're all got to be extinct quickly.
So anything you guys want to say about this matchup, or do we just want to go into who wins?
Deal with her. I don't remember what the beast was called, but it had 2 tentacles for arms that it lashed out at you with, and a third tentacle on its head with an eye stalk on it, from what I remember correctly. And that thing was killing off the livestock and all that. You managed to defeat that and decided to go, nah, keep the reward. You'll need it to to keep the farm going with buy new livestock and that. So your character's always been the more heroic type with Cav there.
Cav was a reluctant heel at times. Cav was very reluctant heel, whereas Click was the type that would get what he wanted, then come back and get more what he wanted at the expense of your life. In this case, a gnome skull, so that he could bury to his god.
I'd probably go with the Cav myself. Just because I know the character a little bit better.
And Anthony?
I think if this was a pure fight, I think Cav Saran may have the upper hand, unless, Click acted like a senior, like the 53-year-old kobold that he was. I could definitely see him playing it up and then just backstabbing Cav Saran.
Hmm. But remember, Cav does have the ability to summon up Shadow Grims with that scepter, or even polymorph Ava, the Kobold.
Yeah, no, definitely equipment wise, I believe Cav Saran has the better equipment. The only way that he is going to that he has a chance is if he plays up and then literally just kills if he has an opportunity to. But yeah, no, I think like although I love Click, I'll give it to Cav Saran.
And the fact that Cav Saran managed to survive against the destroyer armor from out of 4, basically.
Mercadia the One-Eyed, Deity the Pirates, versus Mahara, the Goddess of Adventure.
Kind of like the goddess of adventure versus the goddess of pirate.
From what I've heard of the two, with being here with you guys today, I'd probably go with Adventure myself, since she seems like the more fun character to be around.
Didn't Mercadia kill the champion of the town? Then
Yeah,
make him a skeleton inside his armor so that people wouldn't know he was dead, and then have him walk into the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, because the champion of the town had political sway as well in the town. So you basically killed the champion, you made the champion act like they supported you. You took over the city, became the mayor, and then sent the champion to his death. Well, his second death.
Technically, somewhere in the ocean, there's a skeleton just wandering around trying to eat things. A skeleton or zombie, can't remember which one I created. But I didn't kill him, unless the pressure of the water killed him. Because skeletons and zombies don't need to breathe, so technically he's still undead. And then he has his armor somewhere.
True.
Yeah, he'll eventually pop out of the ocean like Jason Voorhees out of Crystal Lake.
Mahara, though, very cared for her kobold followers.
She did, and again, I think it's because it was the first time that anyone actually believed what she said when saying that she was a goddess. Because I have Mihara's background and open right now, and that you had written, and saying, that when she found the scroll about the goddess called Mihara, that she went to her father and started explaining that she wasn't really his daughter.
Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah.
Over the long term, Mihara will probably end up becoming a stronger deity than Mercadia in the long run, just because piracy, if I were to continue my campaign, the age of piracy would diminish.
Which leaves us to Cav Saran Woodward versus Mahara. I don't really remember if I gave Mahara a last name or not. So, does the human or the Baxi take it as my best character?
This one's actually hard.
I know personally I'm biased one way towards Mahara.
Well,
And whereas I know you're biased towards Cav Saran.
a little bit, yeah. But I'm thinking, like, if the two versed each other, who would probably come out on top would probably be Mihara there, easily enough, being a low-level deity, versus a witch hunter. Well, Cav did get himself basically a castle, a bunch of mercenaries under his control to help protect the lands and all the rest,
Yeah.
as well as a wood elf wife by the end of the campaign.
Yeah. So whereas
I-
Mihara, before she passed away, she'd actually she'd helped clean out a temple that was actually being occupied by kobolds, and made the kobolds her follower, and basically got them to clean up the temple and make it into a temple of Mihara.
But yeah, I'd probably go with Mahara myself as well, just from how the character had sounded in that over Cav.
Not expecting Mahara to win.
Who were you thinking would win?
I'm biased because kobolds are my favorite race, as well as Warforged, but I don't think I've played a Warforged yet. Well, built people. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, so, well, there is that biased. I was really thinking Mercadia was going to win it.
Yep. I think Mercadia, yeah, it's definitely in the top half. I don't know. I find some of your characters harder to rank than others, just because again, like I've known them all so intimately. Usually, like either as a DM or like running the like or playing alongside you. So yeah, it does make battles and choices hard to make.
As I said, thank you. Thank both of you for doing this.
Anytime.
We probably wouldn't have got the same conclusions if it was just Anthony deciding which one wins.
Maybe not.
Oh.
Who knows?
Well, it definitely doesn't hurt having an extra voice or two in to give their opinions as well.